What's up guys, this is Shanan. Today we're going to check out Residensi Brickfields in Brickfields lah. Let's go. Right now we are in front of this infamous project that just recently got completed. A lot of the audiences have sent me their unit pictures and things like that. It looks pretty solid, but the main complaint for now is the delay that it had to endure. It was built by the previous administration and completed with the new one. So it has been some delays, but right in front of the site there are a lot of rubbish dumps around, a lot of like abandoned cars, and we are located right next to the federal highway, so that will be Mid Valley and Gardens already. So what's great is from the federal highway, right, there will be a direct junction coming into the building here before it extends over to Brickfields and KL Central. So that's very connected, and right outside you can see the rather elaborated guardhouse, but you still have the Malaysian culture of car parking everywhere. If not, this road would look really nice, and you have a very nice walkway outside, proper fencing to demarcate out. This is the retention pond, and that will be the neighboring adjacent building already. So after coming in from the guardhouse, right, this will be a drop off, and I must say this looks amazing lah. So coming out from the lift lobby, it's very spacious. The width is 3.2 and the height is 2.56. So in total there will be 3 plus 1 service lift, so it will be 4 lifts for the whole floor plate. And what I'm trying to say is both ends of the lift lobby is actually open, as it's located in the center. It's so nice, this entire feeling, right? Wow! If it's not a Prima, right, this is going to be a very luxurious spec, because it does look into the corridor here. Okay, so walking out, look at the amount of opening, look at the size of the void, right? So this is a single loaded corridor format, which means there's only units on one side. Technically, this is going to be very expensive, again, if it's not a Prima project lah. Because conventionally in a commercial project or the open market product, I would say you have units located at both sides of the corridor. You won't have such openings up front one. Yeah. In terms of the corridor width, then it's 1.87. Then you have steel handrails, which makes it a little bit creepy lah, because the height is actually very tall all the way upwards. But generally, openings like this, wow, just look at it, right? So that will be all the MNCs around KL Central already, and it's one straight road all the way. I think this is also part of the initiative to improve the common areas and facilities, and there's an adjacent land still available, so this view won't be around for too long lah. But main issues with common areas like this will be the rain and wind. Here usually will be very wet, and something I don't like also will be the direct facing of corridors into the unit. This is very weird. Like, you could have just located the entrance a little bit to the side or a little bit to the side, right? Therefore, the ceiling treatment is all exposed. There's no plaster ceiling or whatsoever, because ultimately it's still a cost-oriented project. Again, back to the placement of units, right? So this is the lift lobby, and this is the unit that we're going to check out today that is directly in front of the lift lobby. So in the middle, there's no units at all. How I wish the entrance could have been relocated a little bit off, right, for better privacy of residents. Anyway, you will have tile floorings, very nice. The size is actually very big, and you have patterns to it. Next to the corridor, this will be the kebok sampah, which looks very nice in my opinion. But just that it might be a little bit too small lah. But in terms of tiling, in terms of the lighting and ventilation, I think it's okay. And this will be the floor plate design. So in one floor plate, right, there will be 12 units 6 units on one side, and it's serviced by 4 lifts. And you have this single loaded setting where you have units only on one side as mentioned, and you are surrounded by 2 extremely large voids. So coming into the unit, you will have a foyer, and I like the gentle raise on this. So this is like 25 mm only. Very friendly to the knees, along with the ramp design. Solid. So this is about 1.42 meters, and the depth is about 1 meters. Okay, so let's go check out the unit. So this is the unit I'm going to check out today. This is Type C 923 square feet, 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, and 2 utility rooms. So that's weird. And there are 4 layouts in total. When we come in from the main door, we'll reach this elongated space where it's going to be your dining and living space. The kitchen will be tucked at the side, and right next to the entrance there will be a utility space already. Moving on, this will be the yard space, and then a second utility. Why such design, I'm not too sure. Okay, anyway, going into the corridor, then this will be the connection to the common bathroom, bedroom 2, and the master bedroom. So the master bath will be attached, and it will be naturally ventilated via this window lah. So coming through the main entrance, the size of the entrance is actually very generous. So this clearance is 1.06 meters, and this is a 2.4 meters high door. But just too bad that this wall here which kind of restricted the entire experience coming in. But this is 1.39, about 1.4 meters wide. This will be your utility room 1, utility room 2 outside from your yard space here. Okay, and coming in, this will be the dining, kitchen, and living space. So straight away from the entrance, there's this very obvious column here, and that kind of limits the whole layout altogether, like, because in comparison to the scale of the unit, the proportions I think could have been improved, because now you can see the kitchen, right? It's very minimal in terms of size. So this is about 4 feet, 1.2 meters, right? And this length is about 2 meters from the window. In terms of scale wise, it's workable, right? But what kind of gives it that claustrophobic feeling is this structural system here, where you can easily bend about. And I don't understand why locate the kitchen here when you have so much space on this side, right? Why do I need 2 utility rooms when I only have 2 bedrooms? Like, why? This is 2.43 by 1.6. In terms of size, I think it's nice, but just that when you kind of miscalculated or you overlook the location of the structural members, suddenly you need to work around it lah. Too bad lah. I think that's what happened here lah. Because this bedroom here, there's a very nice window, and you can perfectly use this as your home office or whatsoever. It's just not so nice in terms of ventilation and daylight because it faces the void, right? But it's not the worst ever. In terms of flooring, giving you the smaller size tiles, I think it's fine. Then here connects over to the yard space, and again, this yard space is luxurious. After you put in the washer and dryer, you still have so much space. So much space to an extent where you have an extra storage area. They call it utility 2 lah. Again, what's the purpose for this kind of rooms when at this unit size you only can cater for 2 bedrooms? For perspective wise, 750 can perfectly accommodate 3 bedrooms already. Is that more important, or utility space more important? Seriously, these are just missed opportunity for a super wonderful luxury level kind of kitchen that has perfect connection to the outdoor space. It just needs some tweaking and redesigning, that's about it. Anyway, moving forward, right, looking into the flooring specifications, they are giving 600 by 600 mm tiles. Wonderful. You can put in a dining set here, and this will be the living space. This length here from wall to wall, this is about 3.56 meters, and the ceiling height is about 2.86. Very comfortable, and the size of the windows are amazing. You still have some spaces at the side, but you just look into this frame here and we are now overlooking Bangsar. Okay, so that is actually the LRT station next to Alaila and the UOA building. This will be Jalan Marof already. And just to point out, you can see there's still a lot of land here, but here we get to kind of see there's a small cemetery there and some old houses lah. This is where it gets very tricky. Initial owners, right, they bought the unit about 280,000 to 300,000 only, and it was invitation by ballot back then. It means you need to go and try your luck, provided you are qualified in terms of the criteria, but the entire construction period dragged very long. What I'm happy is the government, the current government, is doing their part at least, right? Because in this situation, the developer is not just some private company, it's the government looking at the completed unit in terms of specifications and materials. Pretty solid. The second thing that I want to talk about is when you buy a unit like this at 300,000, the ongoing rent. This is the juicy part. Now it's actually going for about 2006 to 2008 for a fully furnished unit like this. Can you really rent out? I don't know, right? But will there be demand? Definitely. If you look into the surrounding, this location is surrounded by KL Central, where you have about 100 MNC companies there. Then you're located next to Bangsar. You are located next to Gardens and Mid Valley. So these are just a concentration of commercial activities, and you are smack in the center of them. But whether is it legit or not, because sometimes when you bid the unit already, what if I got transferred in terms of job rotation, right? If I cannot rent out, then it will be a burden to me. So this is where I think the government needs to somewhat tighten or pay attention to the regulations lah. But are there people renting? Yes. But I don't think the tenancy agreement can be stamped lah. That's the part. Or you cannot declare the rental as income for your next property to be included in the DSR lah. So I think those are the points and shortcomings. But in terms of ROI, right, 300,000 you rent out almost 2008. You can break even about 8 years leh. Moving on, this will be the 2 bedrooms and the common bathroom. Let's just check out the common bathroom first. So the wall-to-wall width here is 1.51 meters. You have full height wall tiles. I expected like 5 feet only, but they give you full height. Basin and WC, no brand, understandable, because usually these are the very expensive things, and if you can save money from them, you can save a lot. Okay, then water heater, I think it's fixed by the owner. Then this should be the ventilation panel, the window that is frosted, that's connected to the yard space. Solid. Moving on, this will be bedroom 1, and again the size of space is good, where the size is 3.7 by 2.54 meters. Right, they even give you laminated timber floorings. Also, this room comes with a window, a rather sizable one, just that it's connected to the void lah. After you put in a queen size bed here, right, you still have so much space there. Just look into the space. Wow. Okay, queen size bed, you still have space for bedside tables. The wardrobe here, you can put in a study table if you want to. Then you can see that this is the box up, so you will have the wirings for the aircon, and this will be the view that you get lah, looking towards the corridors and the void. Coming into the master bedroom, wow, I really enjoy the size of the openings for the living space, and this one, you see, they even added on, whew, this is nice. And this, I think, has the better view where it overlooks the LRT station, the KLIA Transit and the KTM. Then if you just work around Maybank here, or Etika here, or UOA building here, right? Oh, this is going to be so awesome. So just like the other room, you have laminated timber floor as well as the timber skirting. So this owner here kind of put the whole cabinet up. This is so nice, right? And the space is actually 3.1 by 3.1 meters just for the bed, where you can fit in a queen size bed, bedside tables, and every morning when you wake up you have a view. And this will be the bathroom, the ensuite bathroom, and I must say the scale is enormous. Look at this one. Whoa. So full height wall tiles. In terms of size, this is your shower area. I can put in a bathtub. But in terms of design, my comments will be they need to put this up here because they need the window access for the bathroom. So this is the only way that they get the facade to place the window. But I would argue to just add in a little bit in terms of budget to add in a mechanical ventilation system so this can be freed up. I can just whack this line and this entire space can be used for the bed instead. Imagine the bed wall is extended backwards about 5 feet, right? The entire layout is going to be luxury. Because like a very nice bathroom like this, right? It's good lah, but how I wish the bed area would be bigger. But anyway, WC and basin here, wow, so nice, man. And compliments to the team because they are so considerate about the height of the plug points as well in terms of furnishings. Coming out from the lift, we are now in the facilities deck. And again, the main characteristic, right, for this project is the enormous size. Everything here is huge, big, and very sensitive to details as well. Like the ramps, I really appreciate it. Like when you're moving strollers or when you're moving stuff, right, when you move house, it's so friendly. So coming out immediately, you will have a children playground, but these are just empty areas for them to run around. Then at the fringe, then you will have sitting areas with the side profile. How I wish the levels could have been lowered a little bit to be more friendly lah. You see, these are just like foley spaces because the entire space is just too big. That's why they just fill up with landscape lah. And then here you can hear the train sound already, right? So if you're in the unit, we didn't get that much, but then this is the gym. So the scale again is humongous. We can see some bicycle, 2 treadmills, then you will have the weights area, but the rest of the areas are just empty lah. Because what's expensive is not the space, but the furnishing of the space itself. Then for the corridors and sitting areas, all are furnished with pebble wash. That's nice. Then at the side of the gym, again, some play areas for the kids. The gym is just this box here, and technically there are 3 blocks here, and the block that we visited just now seems to be the premium block, as the floor plate only consists of the larger unit types, that is the type C and the type D. In between towers, as you can see now, there's like 3 towers, A, B and C, right? It's all connected via the corridors, and I do appreciate that they add shade to it. It's just a simple zinc type of roof, but at least there are shade. Amount of space is just enormous. There's a transfer plate, which I always appreciate. So there will be a very tidy car park system to a very efficient structural layout within the units. But the unit that we visit one, and right behind us, there are some ongoing jobs inside. That's the indoor badminton court. 4 courts in total, and the scale is well, it makes sense also because it's a national sport of Malaysians. Well, not really, that's the second. The first one is eating. But anyway, this is the futsal court. Again, very nice. And this is situated in the center of all 3 blocks. So this will be somewhat like a cost-cutting measure by not building the whole space all the way to the ceiling top. So you will leave all the pipings exposed. In terms of aesthetic-wise, not as great, but in terms of maintenance later, it will be very useful. And there will be a lot of branding, like the community rooms, the clinic Satu Malaysia, Kedai Satu Malaysia, which resembles the previous administration of Malaysia. That got a bit sensitive, but ultimately Prima is an act, so it's by law. That's why they cannot change the name. If not, they will be relabeled into a different name altogether already. But looking at what's provided, right, solid lah. But what's the biggest selling point to this project here? definitely no doubt the location. The small room, as we just spoke to some of the owners here just now, right? Middle room can actually rent out for 1,200, master bedroom can rent out for 1,500, a small room can rent out for 600. So if you calculate, right, the whole room, if you rent out separately, 3,300. How much was the selling price? 300,000. So now we are in the elevated car park, and it's a normal conventional ramp in the center connecting to all floors. There's only like 3 floors of car park because facility was level 4 ma. And so we just point out, right, from ground floor just now when we come in, the ceiling height, the drop off, the amount of space is just luxurious. And now looking at the car park design, because they adopted the transfer floor, as a result you have such a wonderful car park experience. You just look at it, right? So you have cement screening floorings, you have epoxy paint for pedestrian walkways, you got protection layer for the corners of the columns. Ceiling height is about 2.7 to the lowest point, and it's so bright because the building's form, right, is actually pretty short. It's bright on daytime. This is without any lightings just yet. Amazing, right? And how they are saving money is not to use the flat slab system. They still stick with the conventional beams and columns, but it's just so tidy. So you have the secondary beam to the primary beam attached to the columns, right? Wow. This will be the ramp. So when you drive in and out, and there will be a checkpoint on ground floor for residents only to go up. And if you just look into the wheel stopper, right, all painted, nicely done. I don't think there's any tandem, so it's all side by side kind of car park. That's why for whoever who bought this, right, who got this, congratulations. But just some correction just now after speaking to the owners, some of it will be balloting. There are also agents that are selling it. Means that there will be agents marketing the project, and this will be for the loan rejected units. For those, then you get to pick the unit. In total, this whole project, there will be 980 units altogether. Just look into treatments like this, totally unnecessary, but they still put in. Wow. But again, too bad the main entrance to the lobby is directly connected to the road. A bit dangerous like that. At least to have a window for visual access. Okay, so this will be the access to the lift lobby. From the project, there will be one road coming in, and this will only be for motor and pedestrian, okay? And this is the cemetery block, and there's this one small lorong where pedestrian actually walk through, and that is one of the selling point for people who reside there, because this connects them over to the LRT station. And one stop away KL Central, one stop away Bangsar South. And that is the main attraction. And this is the one that actually connects into Establishment and Alila Hotel. And surrounding the project are just old housing, old apartments. What an amazing location, right? In terms of connection, in terms of view, everything also you get. And I guess that's all for today. It's now time for Sean's Take 3 on 3. So for the first 3 things I like, definitely number 1, the location. Now you are in between a few commercial areas. Number 1, KL Central, where you will have about 100 different MNCs around. Then you have the New Central, then you have the KL Central Transportation Hub. That's just amazing, right? And it's just one road away. Kind of jam, but it's still like 10 minutes to 15 minutes away only. The second one will be Bangsar, because right from the unit we can already see Jalan Marof, so that's great. Then you have the KL Eco City, Mid Valley, also kind of Bangsar South, right? And these are the main reasons of the high demand for space in this particular project, because a lot of people do work around the area. As we always say within the channel, what drives rental rates? Job opportunities. And one of the main reasons as well for the high rental is also the walking distance to the LRT station. It's a bit tricky because you need to walk below the KLIA transit track, walk past the cemetery before you walk up. the staircase into the LRT stations, but it's still walkable, right? It's not that far away. The second thing will be the facilities and the specification given, right? So when you go in, there's a proper guardhouse, there's a proper drop off, then there's a proper ramp to the car park area that is amazingly built and designed. Then when you go up, there's a transfer plate. So from the car parks going up, right, when you look into the common areas, they are really well done in terms of quantity of space. Then when you transfer into 3 different blocks, right, we kind of visited the premium block where there's only like 12 units per floor and you have the giant void in between. It really gives and add a lot of space in between units. And when you go to the unit again, everything is so spacious, and about 900 over square feet, you have a 2-bedroom unit and 2 utility space. But we'll talk about that later. Then in terms of materials, if you look into the full height wall tiles for the bathrooms, you look into the laminated timber floorings, you look into the ramps in between transition of spaces, the very gentle drop from the foyer to the common corridors, and the common corridors that is only single loaded for the whole building. Those are superb design treatments because of point number 3, which is the price that the residents got it for. In the website, it's about 284,000, but I think that was the balloting one. There was some rejected units where some of the residents got it from agencies that was marketing them at 300 over thousand. So at 300,000, you get about a 1,000 square feet unit. If you're getting this as a home, congratulations. Super value for money. And it's an even better investment product because now if you go room by room, you can actually get about 3,003. If you go for the whole unit, it's about 2,006 to 2,008 fully furnished. And this is the weird part, which is point number 1 that I have concern of. So there is no strong regulations or strong enforcement about tenancies. Because if you go into the platforms, openly they are up for rental. And this scheme was introduced during the previous administration. It's a blur line, right, between the transition. Can you really rent out? And is there any clause saying that you cannot rent out? Because the criteria is actually set on the buying portion. So you need to fulfill certain criteria like you are eligible to buy. I think that's the only enforcement. Whether can you rent it out or can you stamp the tenancy agreement and things like that, right? There's no hard rule or act or law that says you cannot, and it's really up to personal moral gauge of things. Because if you were to buy this, then suddenly you got promoted into a different country, it wouldn't make sense that if you could not rent out the unit, right? Because when I got it, it was based on that criteria, but now circumstances change, especially after the delay for so long. Then I got transferred out after COVID. I shouldn't be burdened by this particular property. So that's the dilemma right now. The second thing I don't like will be the micro site elements where you have a lot of empty lands and some are under clearance already. So definitely there will be new developments. Again, it's a prime location in KL city centre. There will be a cemetery right in front. There will be a lot of old buildings. They are not abandoned. Also with the direct access from the federal highway going in, right? That's amazing. That really just solved the main problem that a lot of people initially have. Will there be a direct access from the federal highway? If not, if you need to turn in via KL Central, right, it's going to be a havoc, but thankfully there's a direct access. But the main road, due to Malaysia's car parking culture, where we park everywhere we can see, it's going to be pretty messy in the entrance lah. In terms of traffic noise, then we don't really observe that much, especially from the block that we just visit, and from the windows after we close them, everything's okay. And the last thing I don't like will be some of the design elements. If you go into the unit, right, ratio of rooms are weird. You have 2 utility space and 2 bedrooms. Weird, right? I think if you remove the yard and you remove the walls to the utility room 2, you kind of can combine with utility 1, right? That would be an amazing room or an amazing kitchen. So as we are walking outside, we speak to some of the owners, right? Some of them actually made this change to accommodate another room to be rented out again. So I'm in no position to judge, but this is how they're increasing their returns for their investments lah. Then we look into the master bedroom and the bedroom 2, right? Bedroom 2 seems more comfortable in terms of scale. I would actually just add a mechanical ventilation system to the master bathroom because the scale is actually too big. I will actually allow more space for the bedroom to be way more comfortable instead of having a giant sized bathroom where I'm just using it for a while a day. The kitchen as well is a little bit too small because you will have that weird structure, and that I don't understand. You already have a transfer plate, right? All structural members are free to be composed. Why are the consultants still stuck with such a weird design? It would be an amazing layout, but too bad lah. Then for the block that we visit, all units are directly facing the junction. Like if I am coming up from the lift lobby, I can directly see the unit. So anytime I open the door and there are visitors around the lobby, everyone gets to see everything. Not very comfortable with that. Then for all the large units, although the units are nice in terms of layout, the opening directly face a junction. Yeah, you could have just shift a little bit, right? So you won't have direct access visually into the unit whenever you open the door. Then in the facilities deck, I think the area is just too big and they really don't know what to do because it's a constant debate between more facilities and more maintenance fees, right? If you were to put in more facilities, like you put in water features, swimming pool and things like that, it will look so good, but you will burst your budget, number one. Maintenance fee is going to be heavy, and with the new revision of TMB fees, it's going to be burdenful to the residents. Therefore, you will have this amazing badminton hall, which I really like, and it's going to be used commonly by everybody because almost every Malaysian know how to play badminton. But for the rest, right, at the corner and things like that, they have too much space to an extent where they just need to build up landscape island format, right, just to eat up some space so the space won't look too empty. And in order to control maintenance costs again, it's just all hard surfaces. There's going to be very minimal landscape treatments, but personally I think it's already good enough. Just back to the unit layout, I really felt really sayang because they got all the minor things right, like the ramps, the single loaded corridors, the height of the switch, the wall-to-wall width of the living spaces. All those are luxury standard treatments, but I don't know why they just messed up the utility area lah. I guess that's all for this round. Just some corrections again for the LED treatment. So the developer kind of offered a package where they pay up about 65% of the total LED because the total LED is actually a lot of money, and some of the owners actually filed into the tribunal and they got out about 30,000 each owner. So for those who claim, then they can furnish a unit, which is very good. For those who took up the 65% one, also very good because it just shows that this particular developer at least completing the abandoned units, because it will be weird when an affordable housing project gets abandoned, right? It will leave a very bad stigma. So I'm really glad that the government took action, the current administration took action. I personally do hope that the government will do a few things. Number one is to just sort out the confusion in the different affordable housing schemes available in Malaysia. Currently you have Prima, then you have Rumah Selangorku, Rumah WIP, then you have SAM units, some are service apartments, some are residential title, some are Rumah Mesra Rakyat, then some you have the PPR flat into PRR. A lot of new naming convention and schemes is causing a lot of confusion, and then I do hope that there are more enforcements towards the investment components using welfare. So I think they are actually addressing all this already, so we just give them some time. I am very hopeful, and I guess that's all. If you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, this is Sean Tan. Ciao.